Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hitman. This is going to be the first installment of Space Engineers Make It Happen. Pretty much what this is going to be Space Engineers versus reality. Can it be brought into the game? As you saw by the thumbnail, I've actually picked a huge ship. Something that looks like it was somebody's concept design. I actually took that design and I made it into the game. Now, obviously, I can just make a big, rock that looks the same, but I wanted to make sure that it worked, that everything did what it was supposed to do. If I got up into space, if I'm getting shot at, I can shoot back, I can defend myself. This is something that'll carry something. It's got hydrogen tanks, everything's working, all powered. And that's what the goal was. I wanted to see if I can make it. Now, obviously, you could tell this does look a little bit like the picture, actually a lot like the picture. But I did have to do some changes. I wanted to kind of make it where everything works on it. If you look on the top of that little picture right there, it's got a door on the top. Well, not necessarily a door, but a design. I just decided to make it into a door. Get back into where that door leads here in a little bit. The front here is actually where I decided to take some liberties and change it a little bit. The front on the picture was just like the front of a boat almost, and I wanted to have it to where I can pull in with a flyer, and the only way to do that was to have it open up. Wasn't able to get it to open up, so because of the collisions of the game. So I changed it up a little bit, took the liberties, and actually made kind of like a little runway on the top. And then I've also got the rover down on the bottom. Obviously, from the side, it looks just like, pretty close to the picture. Obviously, I had to stuff a lot of things in there. Anyways, let's go ahead and start off with walking into this door right here. Now, there is a door on both sides to access so that you can not necessarily come into the ship, but go out and you have to repair your guns because they were shot or something, and you can come out here and repair your guns. Now, going back inside here, this here is the top door. Let me go ahead and go back outside here a little bit. That area on the ship, that was almost just like a picture. I made it into a door so that you can drop down with a flyer and land. Now, once you get in here, these doors will shut, or can shut, and it'll be airtight. The obviously there is a door opening here. Actually, let's see if this will shut the door. Oh, it's not going to. Hold on just a moment. Let's see, top door. I did some changes on it, so it didn't work. Okay, so there we go. Now the top door is actually closing, and once it closes, then obviously it'll start getting airtight. Now, this room is airtight with the exception of that door. Obviously, it's not going to be airtight with the door unless the other rooms are airtight as well. Now, this is going back out towards the runway here, in the front, in the nose. So you can actually come in, land, and this whole back area back here could be a construction area. Have different tools, different cargo containers, and some stuff like I'll show you here in a little bit at my base. It's like a universal tool vehicle. I'll show you that here in a second. But anyways, let's go ahead and shut that door. I don't have a button down here for it, but what I do have is front hanger close. There we go. Alright, now it's closing. Now, with that being closed and that being closed, it should obviously, with these vents here, start pressurizing the area. Now, coming in from here, you've got doors on the sides. Now this is where it's not pressurized because I just wasn't able to do it with all the stuff that's here. But we'll go up to the top. And in the top, this is actually going to be the cockpit area. So you can see out the front. It's a pretty decent size. We also have vents in here to make this pressurized. Now, as you can tell, this is a pressurized area. It's all green until I open it, and then it just goes yellow. Alright, so that's the cockpit. Let's go and go back down. Now, instead of going back out these doors to this area, we're actually going to turn and go down this way. So I'm just going to turn and go down. Now when we go down, this here is the bottom area where the rovers are actually going to come in. Now, again, there's vents here, so this area can be pressurized as well. And there's switches for each one. The door will shut, and this one here is for the rotor, or for the front ramp door, pretty much, to be able to close the ramp. Now, once it closes, then it should pressurize the area. There might be some small issues. I have to take a look and see what's going on with it. Let's go ahead and run right back here to the back to these doors. Now these doors, this is obviously the most important part, and that's why it's kind of towards the inside a little bit. You open it up. This is the power room. This is all the reactors. Well, not all the gyros, because we got a lot of gyros inside the wall as well to help get this monstrosity to move and turn. And this right here is a wall of batteries. So that way you got reactors and you got batteries. So just in case you run out of power for any of those items. Alright, let's go ahead and take off outside real quick and take a look out here. Now this here, obviously you've got thrusters going forward. I tried to stick to the picture the best possible. Obviously it's not colored. I didn't color it. It is just the regular, and it's also vanilla blocks, so I just deal with, you know, what kind of blocks I can get. This area here, this is actually again a rocket launcher that's on both sides so that you can defend yourself, you know, once you see something, shoot at it. And these gates are to make sure that you don't like cross over in front of it and get shot. These gates are so that you don't get hit with the thrusters and die. Go ahead and move up a little bit. We got lights here and lights here to kind of light up the whole front. Here's our guns that's actually on the side. Again, we've got the barrier here so that you don't fall. You can actually come out if you need to like repair your gun. You can actually come over. Each gun is plumbed down underneath so that you can put ammunition in the cargo containers and it will pretty much run anything you want. Obviously we do have thrusters, both ions and atmospherics. We run towards the back, then we got rocket launcher or rocket turrets to be able to do some pretty nasty damage there. Lift up, go over here, more forward, got sides, got some ups. This one's now going to be atmospheric and hydrogen thrusters. This here is going to be solar panels. I got a total of 12 on this thing. I got 6 over here, 6 over there. It's to help try and feed those batteries with pretty much what I can feed. Now, obviously, I do have a lot of hydrogen or thrusters on here, and that's supplied with the hydrogen that's for this ship, and I'll show you all the tanks to make sure you don't run out, obviously. I've got atmospheric thrusters and hydrogen thrusters on the bottom, and completely lined out underneath is ion thrusters, because in space, obviously, we need to be able to go. This is a universal, pretty much aircraft carrier, or frigate, and so it's got all three thrusters. It's got the atmospherics, the hydrogens, and the ions, so that it should be able to go anywhere. Now, this on the bottom here, this is all of the plumbing. It will be covered up. I just haven't covered it up quite yet because that's kind of what I was working on. Once you go into the front, again, everything's got a purpose. So once you go into the front here, there's connectors, 4 on each side. And the reason why there's connectors is so that you can bring something in and connect it, so that when you take off shooting up into space, well, your rovers aren't running around all over the place slamming into walls and whatever else. You can actually connect to it and it'll stay stationary. Then go up to the cockpit and I'll show you some of the controls. Alright, now here we are in the cockpit. This is looking at the whole thing. Now, obviously, I'll go and pull it up. There's the controls. 1 is atmospheric thrusters, 2 is hydrogen, and 3 is ion. If you notice, if I hit 1, it should kick them all on. Obviously, the atmospherics don't really show too much of what's going on with it. Number 2 is going to be all the hydrogens. It's all going to kick on. If you notice, we've got going down, going up. I don't have really any hydrogens going left or right. I don't necessarily need those because this thing's not really going to be a fighter. It doesn't need to be like moving side to side. And then I've got the ions, which will kick on, and it's all lit up and ready to go. Alright, so let's turn all those back off. Again, I've got the lights for the front. I've got the runway lights. I've got the top hatch, which is going to open up. I've got the hangar hatch, which will open up. That's going to be for like the flyers or whatever. And apparently it's nighttime now. And then you've got the bottom here, obviously, the rotor to open up the ramp, and then the button to be able to open and close the airtight door that's in the middle. Hopefully it didn't get a little too dark. I've got the flashlight on so that we can kind of see what's going on, where we're going. And fly outside real quick. Take another kind of look at it. That's going to be the cockpit where I was just at, right there, that you can see. So everything's lit up because it got the headlights. Well, the spotlights, not the headlights. Again, everything is plumbed. You got the rocket launchers here, which obviously you can kind of follow where the pipe is going, which then, feeds these guns. Those guns are fed. Something's kind of hidden back here in the back. Inside these wings are hydrogen tanks. Let's see if I can slide in here. There we go. You got hydrogen tanks, 2 in each wing. See if I can get back out of here. And not only do you have 2, that's 4 total. We can actually come right back here in the back. And this is, if we get hit in the back, we're kind of screwed. But in the back here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hydrogen tanks, so that we're not going to run out of any hydrogen. And each hydrogen tank has a generator in it, so that it can constantly feed itself hydrogen and not really run out. Right here in the sensor, we've got jump drives, so that when we get into space, you can just hit the jump drives. We've got 2 of them in there. It kind of helps with the recharge a little bit faster. And of course, everything again is plumbed to be able to get the hydrogen to the thrusters. Now that we're in the back, you can see the side thrusters of the atmospherics and the ions. I might add just a little bit and put a few hydrogens in there just so I have it. I don't necessarily need it. Back here in the back, I've got one huge hydrogen in the middle and 4 ions. Now, when I was accessing the panel up top, the cockpit, you notice I had things in groups. Well, these groups here got the atmospheric thrusters, front hangar, hydrogen thrusters, ion thrusters, power room door. Now, the way to get that set up, so let me run up there real quick, and I kind of show you what we can do on that. Alright, hit I for inventory, go down to control panel, and you can select a whole bunch of stuff, like for instance air vents. If I just shift click all the air vents, I can actually come over here and type something. And whenever I type something, air vent, like that, I can hit save. And now I've made a group. See how it's got the little asterisks on it? Once I actually make a group, then once I'm into my seat, obviously I've got my little taskbar on the bottom. If I hit G, which is normally for like bringing up blocks and stuff like that, I can actually go down to groups. And then I look at my groups here that I've made. I've got air vent. I can actually move the air vent down and then click toggle block on, block off. If it's a rotor or piston, it can be reverse. Doors, it's open and close. It all just depends. Depressurize, on and off, and so on. So I'm actually not going to put that on the bar. I was just wanting to kind of show you guys just in case you wasn't quite sure on doing that. Now, again, going back into this small room right here, this again can be the spot where you have construction, and that construction area could be something that I'm working on this way. And this is like a universal type ship. This here has atmospheric thrusters and ion thrusters, so that it can move here and it can move into space however needed. This is about as small as I can get. There are some movements that I need to do, some changes. But again, I've got number 8, which is group for atmospheric thrusters. I can actually move. Oh, I've got my lights on. Now, whenever I come over here, again, all of these are connecting. So I can actually go up to it, close, and then I hit number 6 to connect. Now that I'm connected, I can actually take off, go do whatever I need to do. Now, if you notice, 1, 2, and 3 are the different tools. This one's the grinder, so I'll hit number 3, and then I can just left click, and I can go. Now, if you notice, 5 and 6 are both connectors. The reasoning is if I use this grinder and I fill, or if I use the drill and I kind of fill up a little bit, I can actually connect the ship to something else. If you notice right here, if I raise up, it's got a connector on the bottom, and that connector on the bottom is obviously to be able to connect the ship like so. Now once I do that, then it'll empty everything out. Now this right here is kind of something I've been working on, trying to get it going to where it's a completely universal system, something that works down on Earth, works up into space, and can use all 3 tools. Anyways, enough of that. Back to this. Again, it's got a little bit of it's kind of small, but everything is airtight and maneuverable. Now, just to kind of show you that those engines are enough, let's get in here. Let's turn on the atmospherics and the hydrogens. Wait for them to all kick on, and then I can lift up. Oh, we don't want to lift up with the tongue out, so I'm going to close that door. And then obviously once you lift up, you can take off, go into space. and this, I have taken it out and brought it back in. It's just it'll take a while to go ahead and take this into space, so I'm not going to do that yet. If you guys do want to see it, just let me know, and I'll be more than happy to take this thing into space, let you guys know. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, that is the first installment of Space Engineers versus Reality. Make it happen. I just took a picture that was online, somebody else's concept, whatever, just something that looked cool, and I made it happen. I turned it into something that would actually work. Got it to look like the picture the best that I could, and got it to where it actually does what's needed and can carry. Now I'm going to try and completely fit this in. I'm going to put a flyer in there in the top. I'm going to put a flyer in the back, and I'm going to put a rover down here in the bottom. If there's anything that any of you guys want to see me build, see if I can do it, just to make it happen series, leave a comment down below. Let me know kind of what you want me to do, and see if I can build it. And if you guys enjoyed this, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Let me know that you want me to continue doing this, and hopefully get a little bit of input. I will continue to be putting some more projects in. I do have a rover in mind that I want to work on, and also want to kind of make a little race car. So we'll see what's going to happen there. And until next video, you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.